Who are you? Who am I? Just how do we answer such a question? All of the things that happen to us during our lives, our experiences and emotions, our childhood, affect us and mold us into the person that we become. As I stop and think about my life, I can't help but be fascinated with how my experiences have culminated and been reflective upon myself as a human being. Do we, as humans, truly learn from our experiences? Do we recognize connections within our lives? Do we make choices based upon morality? Or do we go along with ideas and beliefs simply because we were molded into doing so from the time that we were a child? The simple idea of questioning oneself becomes very complicated once you get down to it. Nothing seems to make sense. But I believe that this is immensely important as we transition throughout our lives. Have you ever questioned how you were raised, your beliefs, your values? As an artist, I feel that this is something that I must do. Artists must apply ideas and thoughts to their art, which I believe largely stems from their experiences. So just what qualifies someone to be an artist? There is a great quote from St. Francis of Assisi, which says, "If you work with your hands, you are a laborer. If you work with your hands and your mind, you are a craftsman. If you work with your hands and your mind and your heart, you are an artist." However we work in our lives, I believe that a life without art is not a life. Art has been a main component of my life ever since I can remember. Somehow, I always knew, even as a young child, that I was an artist. As I grew older, art remained an essential part of my life, along with all of the other pieces that went along with it. The definition of art has changed for me throughout my life, now even more so as I continue to encounter an elevation. There are things that I have questioned, especially over the last several years, that have helped me in finding inspiration for my art. Because I have come to realize that art is not just aesthetics, it has meaning, purpose. My art has helped me to learn more about myself as an individual, and my experiences have played a major part in this. I have been able to question and explore different aspects of life through both. More recently, what I've begun to consider is religion, faith in God and in the Spirit, good versus evil, in our society, what we are blinded to, what I act on as right and wrong, and what I know is right and wrong, mindful living and mindful eating, mindful actions and mindful words. I can't help feeling as though the path that I have been on, although not always easy, was meant to be. It could have been different, but because of my choices, good and bad, it led me to where I am today. I also feel that God and my spirituality have played a major role in my life. I still sometimes don't even know how to explain God to another person or how to think and feel about my own faith, but I know that it is real. I know that there is a much higher, incredible, abundant power that exists. Currently, I feel as though I have a good idea of where I need to go from here in my life, but then again, everything could easily change in an instant. Nothing is for sure, and nothing is for certain. But I know that in order to continue in and on this path, my art will always be a part of it. Some of the ideas that I have explored in my work in the past have been aesthetics, just what is beautiful, music and emotion in painting, the fashion industry in our society in relation to the self-image of women, gender stereotypical ads, our body and universal connections, and what I plan on continuing to explore in my future work is movement and universal connections, yoga and universal connections, food to mind connections, animals held in captivity and testing on animals for the purposes of the consumer society, and finally, an unsustainable lifestyle versus a sustainable lifestyle. When I create art, whether it is a painting, a drawing, a photograph, or even performance art, there is a process that I go through. Whether it is multiple layers of paint, hours of shading and drafting, or putting myself into a creative mode in which I must try as many different poses in order to obtain the right photograph or the right sequence of movements. I think that I can compare life itself to this, in the way that we grow from children into adults and we experience many different transitions. We are working to become a finished piece of art. The layers and layers that make up our lives, some visible forever, while others remain hidden underneath.